All right, I want to talk about rocket artillery, and I want to talk about regular tanks. So, people have asked me the question, seeing as tanks at the moment are a little bit overpriced, why not, instead of making tanks, why don't you make rocket artillery? So here, this button here, this is a button you never even knew existed, right? The motorized rocket artillery. Boom. It is 1939 tech, and it is a rocket artillery motorized. It has a good amount of breakthrough and a fantastic amount of soft attack. So much soft attack, it has more soft attack than regular artillery. See this artillery? Well, get this. Rocket artillery has actual more soft attack. You see here 38 versus 34. Oh, what does that mean? So that means rocket artillery do give more soft attack and also more breakthrough. Oh, but that's not all. That's not all. No. There's also lots of passive upgrades for artillery to make it even stronger. 5% here, 5% here, 5% here, so 15% here. Also, you get these upgrades too, so it has 15% soft attack for rocket artillery. Another 50% here. There's another 30% rocket artillery here as well. So there are a lot of passive bonuses. And yeah, they're spaced out over quite a large period too. For instance, this is 1939 tech. A jaw-dropping 1946 tech is the last advanced rocket engines. So I'm currently using the beta patch. So at the moment, tanks are currently in their most up-to-date form. Why am I doing this? Because tanks are a little bit cheaper, but motorized have been slightly nerfed. I'm not sure if rocket artillery have been nerfed, just regular motorized. So it shouldn't have a big impact on the overall performance. So what we're going to basically do is pretend it's 1939. So let's make a tank division that's 1939. And let's also make a rocket artillery motorized division that's 1939 as well. So let's go through all the upgrades so that is required. So first of all, 1939 would be all of these boyos. And of course, we'd have motorized rocket artillery because that is 1939 as well. We need the 1939 chassis, the medium. We'll go for the upgrades for the tank too. All right, so let's make the division. So we're going to cheat in some XP. I know, feedback game cheating. And we'll make the meta at the moment. The meta is between 41 and 45 combat width. This has the most optimal amount of stats versus the smallest amount of being over the combat width penalty. If you want to know more about that, I have made several videos on that specific topic. I will not be talking about that today, sorry. But the meta is between 41 and 45. And today, I'll be going for 44. Because it is a multiple of 2, which just makes life a lot easier. So this is the tank. So now, to make this a fair test, we need to make a rocket artillery division. Now, rocket artillery is a bit different because it takes up 3 combat width. So we're going to make them basically equate to the same amount of combat width. So this overall may make a division that has lots of equipment in it, but we have to make sure this is a real world example. So once again, we are going to make a 44 width motorized rocket artillery. And there it is, boys. These are the 2 divisions, lads. We'll make 2 comparisons. We'll make a 1939 tank and also a 1946 tank. And the same thing, we'll make a 1946 rocket artillery and a 1946 tank. So here are the raw examples, but this tank division hasn't got the right stats because we haven't made a medium tank division. So we are going to use the medium chassis because it's a 1939 tank. We need welded armor because that's the most efficient. Either diesel or gasoline, depending on the speed. We'll see when we come back to it. The armament. The armament's really important because we need to get the most bang for our buck. The cost-efficient option is the automatic cannon. The more expensive option is the close support gun. I feel like we should do the cost-efficient one to begin with, and that would be the automatic cannon. No, the automatic cannon is very cost-effective. And we'll also go for the 3-man turret too. That's probably the bit where we're below in the budget a little bit. And then we have to increase the speed. Best way to do it is gasoline engine to begin with. And then we'll go for something like this, right? And then we need to make sure we get to 9 so it doesn't cost chromium because 10 gives 1 chromium. And this is basically the medium on a budget. So here we are. We're basically here to decide if rocket artillery is something to make instead of tanks that is cost efficient. So this involves minor powers. This involves major powers. This is a direct 1-for-1 comparison to see. First of all, let us talk about the cost. The cost for this rocket artillery 44 width, 3,500, 3,500, we'll say 3,500 to 3,500 basically. Well, the tank is 64,000. So basically it's double the cost, basically. Just shy of double the cost. So remember that. Tank, expensive. Don't forget that. Let's talk about soft attack though. So soft attack for the tank is 222. Soft attack for the rocket artillery is 346. So significant lead for the rocket artillery. It's what rocket artillery does really well. It's really, really good soft attack. Let's talk about breakthrough. Breakthrough is something tanks do well, 544. And also breakthrough for rocket artillery is good too, at 216. Once again, nowhere near as good as a tank though, because tanks are basically the kings of breakthrough. Talk about armor. As you'd imagine, rockets do not have armor, a benefit that armor on a tank does have. You guys are going to complain now that this tank is not very strong, therefore it's not very good, and therefore it doesn't have enough armor, so therefore people in multiplayer would pierce it. Yeah, good. We're not playing multiplayer, playing single gamer, bitch. So I've designed this tank to be as effective in combat as possible while unfortunately losing speed. So 4.1 kilometers per hour, but the rocket artillery has a massive 12 kilometers per hour. That is mind-numbingly impressive. So we've got organization at 33 for the motorized, 37 for the tank. So the question is, I'm going to ask you guys right now is, what is the most cost-effective in this scenario? Would you prefer to have 2 of these or 1 of these? Yeah, I think the honest truth is there are more bonuses for the tank. The armor is a massive factor. I'll admit the speed is awesome for the motorized, as well as the soft attack's really awesome as well. But at the end of the day, the breakthrough and the armor really pulls the tank ahead. When it comes down to effectiveness in terrain types, oh, interesting, the motorized is actually better. This is one of the issues with tanks, isn't it? Tanks have some fucking massive penalties on certain terrain types. Rockets give a bonus against forts. I never knew that. Honestly, hand on heart, the comparison here isn't big. It's not massive. When it comes down to using 44 widths efficiently, you need to have at least 3 of them to be able to push forward, make encirclements, and then encircle the enemy divisions. I think, for in all fairness, this has simplicity to it, but you're not getting as much bang for your buck compared to what you get with a tank. Anyway, so rockets are something you get, but then aren't the most efficient when you first get them. So let's play a situation, a scenario. Let's pretend that we're in 1936. In 1936, we would have had all these 3 techs. We'd have all these techs. It's 45, so we'd have the modern chassis as well. I guess you can go super ham by having the biggest, chunkiest radio. So now we've gone to 564 soft attack. That's eye-watering soft attack. And the breakthrough's at 216 compared to the tank's 544. So the breakthrough's not increased much, but all the bonuses have stacked soft attack on the rockets. So all the passive upgrades that I've gone for, I've just done that one thing. They boosted soft attack and nothing else. But I'll admit, the amount of soft attack you get for this cheap division is eye-wateringly high. Very, 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 very high. It's interesting with all those upgrades, the only difference is extra soft attack for the rockets. So I guess when you upgrade a tank, you're basically making all the stats better, technically, like soft attack, hard attack, defense, breakthrough, armor, piercing. But with the rockets, you're just making the soft attack higher with the upgrades. Anyway, let's make an actual proper chunky tank now. Let's make it the best medium chassis that we can do. So gasoline, welded. I guess we do Christie suspension, I guess. So if we're doing this on a budget, we would be going for the autocannon, the automatic autocannon. This is so cheap, so cheap. But once again, we want to basically go ham. And the best one is the improved howitzer, which gives the most soft attack. Remember, this is optimized for single player. You basically be fighting infantry more than you are going to be fighting tanks. So we can go for the howitzer, or you can go for... I guess if you got to think to yourself, what am I going to be fighting mostly? Most of the time, it's going to be infantry. So having these nice stacking of soft attack tends to be for the win. We'll go for a nice balanced gun by going for the medium improved cannon. Of course, you want to go for a turret with 3 man for more breakthrough. You can go for the big-ass radio. I suppose at this point, people always think about stacking as much armor as possible, so it's impossible to pierce this fucker. Stabilizer adds 5 breakthrough. Autoload, it adds 4 plus defense. I like the more well-rounded stats. Now we need to basically increase the armor to it gets to about 80%. That's the sweet spot. Here we go. So now we've got basically the chunky panther. And let's look at the difference. So, soft attack. We got 5, 6, 4. I wanted to go with the howitzer to compare like for like soft attack, but then we got 3, 9, 2. So the distance has been significantly reduced, like 20% difference now. Hard attack, obviously. Defense is about the same. Wow. Breakthrough. Oh, massive shoot ahead for the tank. Armor, obviously. Piercing, obviously, towards the tank. Org now is very similar. A little bit more on the tank. Probably about the same, actually, because I've got mobile warfare. Production costs. So, pretty much 12,000 production costs compared to 3. So basically, you can get 1, 2, 3, almost 4 of these for 1 of these. But at the end of the day, these tanks are basically going to strip through everything. Rockets versus armor. I can say, with our test that we've made today, it does appear that rockets have got an advantage in 1939, probably 1944. 1939, 1940, 1941. But after that, massively drop off. Because at the end of the day, later game you go, the more production you've got, and the more potential you have of making a very, very chunky tank division. I think, guys, that is a case closed, in my honest opinion. Once again, I'll say this again. I've said it a billion times. If you want to roleplay as a lovely rocket tank, rocket motorized Germany or whatever, go nuts. Go absolutely nuts. Just do it, okay? If you want to roleplay, go for it. But when it comes down to min-maxing the best stats, unfortunately, rockets suck. And at the moment, in the current meta, it looks like tanks push ahead quite aggressively.